Yo, welcome back to WLVS Radio. You're tuned into the open bar.
Salud.
Salud. Of course, my favorite segment of the show is when we introduce our what?
Drink of the day.
Hey.
Conrad.
Hey. Okay.
Igor.
Drink of the day. Hey.
Conrad.
They was looking for the echo effect. That's all. It's cool. It's cool.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Don't worry about it. Don't
Drink of
worry
the
about it.
day. Hey.
And you're still doing it.
There you go.
So, anyway, our drink of the day, we actually got two things going on. We're doing a Jack, just a regular honey Jack,
I'm doing
ginger ale.
I'm doing honey Jack neat.
Neat? You doing yours neat?
Yes.
All right. And Dave, you doing yours with what? Pineapple and a splash of
Ginger ale.
Pastor just doing pineapple juice.
Just pineapple juice and nice.
There you go.
I'm doing
I want to at least feel a little gangster.
Double cup.
I like it, Pastor.
I'm doing Prosecco champagne with pineapple juice.
I should have got some of that. See, because I can have a little champagne, you know.
Not with that juicing you've been on. You need to not have no bubbles.
That's what I said.
I
That's
am such your sister. I'm just put the bubbles down for that stomach. You ain't gonna go to bed tonight.
My stomach is
gonna
already
have the bubble guts.
Like for sure.
And it's amazing how motivated Ron is to lose weight just to go on this trip, man.
I know,
where
for a
you going,
weekend.
Ron?
But baby, it's working.
Before
Where you
his
going?
own health in his life.
Yeah. Look, he ain't gonna be able to do shit on the trip.
No, we gonna be tired.
He gonna be tired, but he gonna be looking right.
But I mean,
The selfies are gonna be a pep.
Hey, yo, I'm going to die naked on the beach.
but you won't even eat right just for your own health. You're
I
like
do eat right. I've been eating right.
in your regular life. You just be like,
Yeah, right.
No, this week I'm gonna try not to eat much food.
Okay, so
Why?
can you
Why?
tell me where you going? Because I need to know what's worth it. Where you going?
I'm just going to DR. It's nothing
Oh,
serious.
Dominican Republic.
Dominican
They
Republic.
don't want
And
you.
you know
there.
he don't keep his shirt on half of the time
They don't like you
in
there.
Maryland. So
Yeah.
But I
So
want
they gonna
to
be-
They don't know him
No,
there.
but my main thing about
There
DR,
he's rich because he's fat. You know how back in the old days, if you were fat, they knew you were wealthy.
Oh, that's still
There
true
you
in those
go.
countries.
oh DR, they want you fat.
They don't want you black, so they don't want you there. But anywho,
well, it's pockets.
Yeah, it's possible.
Well,
Because whenever you come with that
Don't
money,
go
that money is.
I'm mainly doing it for
Rick Ross.
picture purposes.
Yes, that's
On
what I
the
was
beach.
doing.
And you about to do a
He-
photo
he
shoot?
wants to get healthy for the gram.
Well,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's
He's
your
doing it for the
motivation.
gram.
But what about your blood pressure?
Do it for the blood pressure.
He wasn't going to water splash, but
But-
take a picture.
I think you're right about this champagne. I'm gonna stop.
I'm telling you the truth.
Ow.
You don't listen
I think
to
we should
me.
call the ambulance or something. For real.
No, just get
My
some
stomach
water.
Yo,
Water.
I'll tell you this
Just
too.
fart,
I-
nigga.
I-
Fart.
I'm gonna be honest with you because I've never been to the DR or out of the country. Technically, I'm actually gonna go hopefully this year.
We going with you.
But but this is the thing. I had like some young people who went over to the DR. They went over there, and the girl, she's a young lady. She's like they like in their 20s, like 24, 25. They went. They were hanging out, and she was like calling back home, panicking, like he's trying to find weed from somebody, and I don't think this is really safe.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Like so, I'm like. I hope your crew got to connect already over there because I don't think you should go over there just like walking randomly through the
who was
streets.
trying to find the weed?
The young man who went with the girl, who took the girl. They like in their 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Everything they need
But
to
he
be on
didn't.
the
But
resort.
he didn't know anyone. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you leave that resort.
Oh yeah. Don't leave the resort.
No,
There was
Don't believe the hype.
There was a
Don't believe
couple in New Jersey that got killed over there.
They
and
had
I'm
an
just-
accident.
Their car
I do
ran
not
off the-
believe
their
that.
Trust
car-
me, it's a car
That
Don't
car
accident.
trust me. See, your ass been over there.
No, yeah, David been over
I
there.
have been over there several
No,
times.
that couple.
I have too,
That
and I
couple,
know it's a
you're
lot
right.
of mountains.
That couple,
and
their
it's-
car ran off the road.
I don't believe it.
They were on their way to the airport. And
Okay.
How one person be over here and the way another person
because
be
the
way over
wife
there?
tried to get out the water.
I mean,
The
how many
man got
times you been to
submerged
DR?
in the,
Twice.
Twice. But Dave, I know Dave been a lot of times, so I want to just ask that. So you saying that you can go over there and pretty much find whatever you want, and it can be safe?
You
You
didn't
saying?
say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off the
So-
resort.
I only stayed on the resort one time over there
And the other times you stayed
Well, what part
in
of
the
a house?
at
areas.
Airbnb.
What part of DR did you go?
Santo Domingo, Santiago, Puerto Plata.
Puerto Plata.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to Punta Cana.
Yeah, never been
Cana.
to Puerto Cana. That's a resort town.
Yeah, just stay on the resort.
Stay on the resort.
Yeah.
Just for, you know.
And let
for
somebody on the
safe
resort get
purposes.
you your drugs, your weed.
No. Well,
They
I
will.
will.
They have everything that you
Want.
want. You can get off. you can get on. Anything you want, you can get.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
everywhere.
because they know tourists are coming there to have.
Yeah, they're coming there to have fun, so they want to make their experience enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't smoke weed, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well,
Well, that's
what's good? I was just saying, don't go over there like freestyling like off the resort, you know,
But
like.
it's okay.
Now I don't know how good the weed
gotta
or the coke or anything is.
You know about
But the coke's probably better because it comes from closer to the
my
source.
God.
It's more.
Oh my God, what are we
It's
talking about?
farm to
Pure.
table. It's farm to table.
Like tequila, right? And yeah.
Oh, boy, I bet they got some good coffee, even though I'm not a coffee drinker. So
You gotta get some. You gotta get a frozen.
Oh no, I'm
That's
in
Colombia.
Colombia.
No, you get a frozen mama wana.
What's that?
Mama wana.
Is that coffee?
No, is their drink? It's a drink that they make.
Is their custom drink? And
Yeah,
Okay.
get a frozen one.
I know under the deal that we got, it's like everything's included a butler service.
It's
and
called
all,
all inclusive.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what
So
it's called.
It's a good deal. So
I got an all-included package.
right.
It's all included.
Have a good time.
So
We all included.
Are you
But-
going with a bunch of
all
people?
included.
yeah, it's about 20 of us.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, like I said, everybody's like, "You losing weight for that trip?" No, yes, picture purposes. You want to take good pictures, people. You don't want to be
Prepare
like,
yourself, huh?
Yeah.
I'm getting tattoos, fake tattoos this
No,
week.
you're not.
They got those. Have you seen those? I saw them on TV the other day. They're
You gonna be
tattoos that last for about.
you gonna be tatted up?
Sleeve.
Huh?
Your whole sleeve tattoo that lasts for about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
My tattoo
They
gonna
look
last.
real.
It's a 30-day tattoo. It's gonna last for a while, so y'all be seeing that on my Instagram. Picture. Everybody like
Then it won't, and then it'll be
Tattoo
gone in
Beyonce?
2 weeks.
it'll be gone.
Which tattoo Beyonce over here?
I thought about getting blue ivy on my back.
Why?
Did
Why would you
go
do
to
that?
bed.
I'm joking. Jay-Z would be like, "What the fuck? You got my child?" Anyway,
Somebody got him.
y'all ready to go to some hot topics?
Yeah, let's do it.
Topic.
Hot topics. So you guys brought up. We did talk about Coachella at first.
Coachella.
Coachella. Doing Beyonce, but then Kanye West put on a whole church service doing his. How did y'all feel about that?
But Beyonce was from last year. Let's get that right.
Well,
and
yeah, he's
Kanye's
this
is this year's.
Okay, thanks for that knowledge.
And Ariana Grande was the
Did you see
headliner.
somebody
She was
threw a
headlining
lemon
this
at
year.
her? They threw
Yeah.
a lemon at her.
They did.
Those Beyonce fans, they
haters.
need to relax.
They're
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's Beyonce, man.
Did you get your lemon back?
Huh?
Did you get your lemon back?
I did
Yeah.
not do
Well,
that.
to
Not
be
waste
clear,
no
for
lemons.
for the audience, there's an uproar, a slight uproar on the internet because Ariana Grande got paid more than Beyonce did.
Allegedly.
Actually, she didn't.
They
But-
got
but
paid
they-
the same
yeah, but-
They
amount.
were just saying that.
But-
Get people
That's what the uproar is about.
Yeah, exactly. That's
They
what
both
they believe.
got $4 million.
$4 million per
show.
weekend.
Per show, yeah.
Right.
Per weekend.
But then, of course, Beyonce, being the black woman that she is, got the rights to hers and flipped it and made $60 million.
On
Well,
Netflix.
Or that
I
homecoming
would say
Netflix
this.
thing.
I would say this. This is the deal, though. Someone texted me and said that too, right? But she actually got the 60 million for a conglomeration of
Netflix,
films
yeah.
for a couple of films.
Netflix
So
deal.
Homecoming was like the first.
So you
Awesome.
telling me she got more than Monique? Sorry.
Don't do Monique.
I love that, Joe. That's 60. That's
Don't do
60 million. She only had
Mo-
to touch.
Monique,
That's
Monique
great.
is mad.
Monique is mad.
She
Monique
don't
gonna
have to
say
touch
that.
no money. What
That's
you
60
talking about?
million is just like she's
Right.
gonna get a 60 million. Put it.
That million, them going to her children's
Yeah.
Trust me.
Oh,
How
God.
much do you think, and regardless of how much money she's made, how much do you think she's actually spending right now?
Well, now she's probably
She's
spending.
living off the
Well,
interest.
it's different because her and Jay are together.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
how much do you think she is spending
She's
right
probably
now?
not spending a
Probably a
lot at
whole
all.
lot.
She's probably not spending
like
any money at all.
like $100 a month.
Yeah. Jay probably spending it
she's
Yeah,
spending
he's
a lot.
pretty much footing the bill.
for everything, right?
Yes.
Because
She
he
can
can.
afford it too.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
saying that. I'm not saying that.
And so her
he can
money
afford
is
it.
being. He said her money is being all stuffed in the coffers. Like,
Yes.
basically. Like
I don't know about that.
I mean, she's paying her staff out of her money.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring her
But her profits, her
monthly budget
proceeds
though.
are her proceeds.
But her monthly budget for her staff and what they do for her and what she puts into her venture
Two
businesses.
nannies.
And she has the little business. What's the little? She has the
Clothing.
clothing line, right?
Ivy Park.
Ivy Park, and then now she's got like a little entertainment thing where she's managing those two little girls, the twins, or
Noelle and Shelley. The girls from
The
Blackish.
girls from Blackish. I mean, Grownish.
those two
They're
girls,
Hallie. They're,
Hallie and
Yeah.
Haley and.
Them girls can sing.
yes, they can sing their faces
But
off.
they sound like Beyonce to me. I don't know.
But even
So
still,
I'm saying her monthly
Hold on,
budget. Let's say
what's wrong with
her
sounding
monthly
like
budget. I'm
Beyonce?
saying she's probably
That would
spending
be a
probably like $200,000 a month
Yeah.
on.
you think she's spending that much
That's
money?
taxes.
Yeah,
That's
each
taxes.
salaries,
Salaries.
and
But
cars.
that's not her money.
What you mean it's not
Yes,
her
I
it
mean,
is money.
that's coming out of the business money.
Yeah, but that mortgage.
But she's making the business
50,
money.
100
though.
grand easy.
Huh?
Their mortgage is probably 50, 100 grand
You said
easy.
their mortgage?
Mortgages.
They got
It's
cut
50,000
mortgages,
a month.
multiple.
They're multiple properties.
She ain't paying for the mortgage. They probably paid off them all on property.
They probably did buy those.
No, that could make some sense.
That's not smart.
This is
Yeah,
true.
If you get low interest rate, it makes some sense to people.
See, I'm sure she bought her father a house. She bought her mother a
You're
house.
talking about somebody who's
She
making.
bought her sister a house.
who paid millions.
Yeah, no,
in
you're right,
taxes.
but it makes no sense to buy a house. If
All right, so
if you're not-
let's just
if you're not-
clarify real
right.
quick. Who's can do it fastest? Look up the net worth of Jay-Z. I know Jay-Z's about
900 million.
900 million, right?
But
And Beyonce's what? Close.
She's like 500 something.
I think
like
together they're under a billion.
How is Jay-Z more than
No,
Beyonce?
they're a billion
though?
together.
Way
How
more.
long
together?
They're a billion together. Yeah, they're a
Yeah,
billion.
well over a well over a billion.
Just one.
Yeah.
Because
Well
both of them-
over a
Last year?
billion.
I think
No,
Beyonce's
this
more
has
than
been like 6 years.
No.
Billion more.
Nah, trust me.
They weren't a billion when they made that song. It's $1 billion in the elevator.
But we talk
Yes, it
about.
was.
No, they weren't. They were
Yes,
That
they
not.
tour,
was.
they
They were
made
not.
them billions.
She said that. She said over $1 billion in elevator.
But they weren't. Though.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
We looked at that then.
In
It
Yes,
was,
they were.
And Solange little 10,000. It was included in the elevator.
Don't do Solange because she'll beat Jay-Z's ass.
is
She showed that she'll
crazy.
do it.
Oh, they got-
She's
got
at
Beyonce
355.
No, I said 500 million.
How much?
As of 2019, like 500 million.
For
500
Beyonce?
Well, when they say it's her worth,
Net worth.
her net worth is 500 million.
So
Net worth. That's not gross.
So,
net.
so people, don't get mad at me for asking you guys this question, but
Yeah.
how did Jay-Z make 810 million?
Jay-Z's 930.
Excuse me.
Not yet.
He has
Sorry.
be-
I just want to know.
He has multiple business ventures.
Say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He owned his record company ever since he
Say
came
that.
into the
No, but he
industry.
sold
Say
it.
that.
He sold rock.
Yes, but
But
I'm
Bill-
saying he owned a clothing label that was very
Rockefeller.
successful.
He sold them too.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I'm just
So-
saying he
No, but he got money
Title.
when he sold them. He got a lot of money.
Title. He owns Title.
he owns Tidal. He owns
the piece of the New Jersey, New York, Brooklyn Nets.
he owned a part
He
part
did.
of the Nets,
Does he still own them?
and he also owns Douce
The liquor.
the
Yeah.
cognac.
But he also was making money as a sports manager. He has a stake
Yeah.
in the Brooklyn Nets.
He does.
No. I
He
think
sold
He
that.
signed a
he
couple
sold
baseball
it
players.
because he's a manager.
He
He
sold his stake, but he made money.
Yeah, and then you got to think they had a Jay-Z cell phone, and
But it ain't even just that. His back
Yeah,
room
they
stuff
did.
that he did with the record labels and stuff. He made a lot of.
he
dough.
had the sneaker
Oh, I love
contract.
those.
So why Damon
That's
Dash
Scott
ain't get none
Carter's.
of that money?
Like-
That's sad.
He did make a lot of money, but Dame Dash put
Hold on.
his money back into
Let me say
you
this:
know. But
If-
you're
if Dame Dash can loan the dude
$4 million.
$2 million,
Yeah.
anytime you can get somebody $2 million, yo, you got money. You just ain't got Jay-Z money.
No, but when you crying for it back, you
No,
got
ain't no
money.
crying. That's not
That's
crying.
respect.
I
Dude.
gave you $2 million. Man, somebody press you
Beyonce
over
don't care about
$1,000.
$2 million.
You can get
okay.
pressed.
You think she?
So
She might care about $5.
So pay it then.
You
Yo,
talking about petty ass Dame Dash?
You can get pressed over $1,000. You can get pressed over $2,000. Yeah.
Lee Dames
owe me $50
Over a
to
bag
watch
of his
you
son's
have.
cookies.
but they
went
say
chasing for
Lee
his son's
Dames,
cookies.
Lee Dames is kind of shiesty.
But $2 million.
But
When
why
you
he
can
ain't just get a
when you can get
A
somebody
lot of
$2
people are
million.
shiesty in this business.
If you know you owe me $2 million, Ron, you better give me my money
If-
without
if-
me saying something.
Let me tell you
Right.
something.
I give you a
You
quarter
have
day.
to be in a certain place to be
Exactly.
able to
Some
give
money.
somebody $2 million when you got kids, a family, a wife. You know what I'm saying? To give somebody $2 million, even if it is an investment, you gotta have dope. So he just
Yeah.
ain't got.
You don't put it this way. If you don't have people who are, multimillionaires, right, going up and buy a team, and that's all the money that they have.
Exactly. No,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? They have.
Speaking of money, can we talk about Russell Wilson's money? Can we talk about
We can
that?
talk about Russell Wilson's money.
Shout out to Russell.
Shout out
Dash
to Russell
is
Million. He
worth
made
Russell
what?
got what?
160
How
million?
much?
100,
He's worth $2 million.
He made
100,
That's why he wants that loan back. So he bought $4 million. Double it up.
But he just shout out to Dame Dash. Actually, he just started his own network too.
He did.
TV network.
who?
Dame Dash.
And isn't Combs and Jay-Z, like, they're getting together to do I heard, like a black network, like an Oprah kind of thing. Might be just rumors.
You talking about her?
Jay-Z already has. I mean,
What do you
Dame
have?
Dash already has the network, so I don't
What's
know.
it called?
I think Jay-Z is trying to do. He's trying to take.
It's called
take,
Dame Dash Network or
I
something
think,
like that.
but Jay-Z
Well, I
trying to
gotta
take
get
Damon
That's
Dash
what's up.
shine. I think he's trying to take his shine. He gonna start this
He's been
network.
taking Dame Dash's
What
shine
shine.
is Dame have?
Poor Dame Dash.
I'm actually. I love Dame Dash, man. I love his drive, man.
I
I
love
love.
it too.
I
You
love his
love him?
attitude. I love
I don't
his.
know about love.
Yeah, I love.
Oh, now it's all right.
Right, we can stand now.
Well, love was definitely a figure of
Makes
speech.
you proud.
But he doesn't make me proud. He inspires me so much.
But you know what? I know we brought up Russell. We brought up Russell Wilson.
Hold on, but Dame Dash doesn't inspire me because whenever you can press somebody in public for $2 million, I'm just all the fact that you gave somebody $2 million.
Well,
you a baller.
But you know, Damon Dash went off on the people who do a meeting without him about his company.
Oh, back in the day, yeah.
So
yeah,
he's really he don't mind coming, confront people,
pressing you out. Yeah. I mean, he was always a hot wire, but
plus his headline.
But that could get you in trouble. What's impressive is that if you can peel off $2 million for anything, and be like, here, take $2 million and go to bed like, okay, I'm cool. I'm still paying my bills. That's
but
big.
Y'all get mad when I say this. I think Jay-Z's shine went up when he married Beyonce.
Of course.
So my second thing was if Aaliyah would have lived, Damon Dash would probably been in that same category.
She would not have married Dame Dash.
You don't think so?
Aaliyah's another one who is it the lore? Is that what I want to say? It grew. Her tail grew after she died.
passed away.
They swole her up a lot.
Hers was different though.
Her greatness was exaggerated just a
her
little
story
bit.
is a little different than Nipsey's, for example.
Well, I know that,
she
but
didn't have Nipsey's past.
But they act like she was going to be a version of Beyonce, and she was not going to be that.
I think she was. She was
gonna be
before
no
Beyonce.
Let's be clear.
She was before Beyonce.
She does not have the vocals.
She's not exactly.
She on some Janet.
Aaliyah
She has
was
a
not-
strong voice.
Aaliyah
That wispy lip Janet Jackson vibe she had.
No,
was
Aaliyah
perfect for
did
the
that.
90s.
Aaliyah had a voice.
I
Like,
had this
if you listen
conversation over the
Hold
weekend.
on, but if you heard Aaliyah's song Fire, she can really sing.
No, baby.
But no, Aaliyah was a great singer.
See, I'm telling you, people be swelling that up, man.
But she started that.
She wasn't no great singer.
No, she
She's
was
Sierra.
a great singer. No,
Yes,
and-
yes, she's more of a Sierra
Aaliyah's Sierra.
yes.
No,
Let's give-
or Ashanti
Or a Britney
better than
Spears.
Ashanti.
Britney Spears.
because she
Sierra.
can act. Because she can
And
act.
she could sing.
What
Her
about
Sierra.
Britney Spears? Britney Spears got a great voice.
Over there with Janet. Over there with
Janet,
Go
Britney,
over there.
Janet.
But
No, but Britney
Janet,
was
but
great
Janet, Janet was Beyonce.
Yeah.
Without the
Beyonce.
vocals.
This is
You-
without the
Janet
vocals.
can sing.
Yeah,
But Janet had the Beyonce drive. That's what
Yeah.
made her huge.
You think
Janet,
y'all
Janet
think
like
that
Beyonce is
Beyonce
no
can sing better than Janet?
No,
Yeah.
yes,
Wait,
of
if
course.
you
yeah,
I don't.
shoot.
yeah.
No, the thing about Beyonce and Janet, where they compare, where Janet and Beyonce. Did you say?
Come on, dog.
Definitely sing better than Beyonce.
On stay in the
But
mics.
she
Come on, stay
can't-
in the
but
mics.
she can't-
Stay in the mics.
Who?
You
Jennifer
said-
Hudson.
You said, hold
Jennifer
on.
Hudson
You
is better than
said-
Beyonce.
everybody-
Absolutely.
Hold on, I need everybody
But she got
quiet.
two left.
I need everybody quiet. Did you just say that Janet sings better than Beyonce?
No, J Hud.
Oh, Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson definitely.
Yeah.
I asked the question: does Janet sing better than Beyonce?
The answer is
Oh, yeah.
no. She does not.
No, yeah, Janet does not sing.
But
better than
Jennifer
Beyonce.
Beyonce-
I kind of. I don't know
Have
about
you
that.
ever heard Janet
If-
Jackson sing with
I-
no music, a cappella, and
I-
blow?
Hold on, but I will tell you.
Well, they didn't
I will
have
tell you who can
auto-tune
sing
back
better than
then.
Beyonce.
Excuse me?
They didn't have auto-tune
This
back
is
then.
100 people.
Janet
I
used
will tell you
auto-tune.
who sings better than Beyonce.
Who?
Kiki Wyatt.
Yes, definitely.
She can't stay
So
out of
does-
jail. And she
So
can't
does
dance.
Jennifer Hudson
Now,
though.
she gonna throw in that dirt.
But let me
Why
say
you gonna
this.
throw that dirt
Let
on
me say
her?
this. Let me say this.
Same
But
reason
Beyonce
you ain't
sing-
proud of
Beyonce
Beyonce.
can sing, but she's not the
where
greatest
Beyonce differ from all these people that are great singers, they cannot pull a full performance off and,
And
sing
sing
on
and
key
dance?
the whole show
Like
no,
that?
for 3 hours straight.
No,
They
Kiki
can't do
Wyatt
that.
can sing on key the whole show, but she can't
No,
dance like
no,
Beyonce.
But then
She wouldn't
that
be able
makes
to
her
dance.
no Beyonce.
I ain't saying Beyonce.
Janet could have.
No, Janet.
She
That's what I'm saying.
Sing.
Janet
Madonna-
can.
sing.
Madonna
She
could have.
needs the
Now,
background
Madonna
track
can
on
sing.
all
Madonna
the
can
songs.
sing.
Madonna cannot sing.
Madonna did
Madonna
it.
was a singer.
No.
Madonna's the
Borderline.
white Beyonce. Or
Borderline.
Hell no.
First of all, I don't know how you said Janet was Beyonce before Beyonce was there. I could kind of go along with that a little bit. But even like a
Yeah.
Britney Spears can sing. You know, it's a white, she's a
okay,
white
yeah.
girl.
She over there
but,
with Sierra.
But no. But Britney Spears is way bigger than Sierra.
No,
Like,
voice.
Sierra
Oh,
was
yeah,
never-
way
Britney
bigger.
Spears was a big
Not
deal.
bigger, better voice.
Voice wise.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wise.
bigger and better.
Well, okay. I think she's got a better voice than Sierra too.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
Yeah,
so.
I agree with that.
I think Carrie Hilson sings better than Sierra.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think Carrie Hilson sing better than Beyonce, but
I don't know about that, but yeah, I did Carrie Hilson sing, but I don't know if she can sing better. Beyonce can sing. I
Beyonce
can't take
can
that from her.
sing
Beyonce can sing
and
better than the
dance
average
at
can we
the
person.
same
Can
time.
we see?
But she
Can we have Beyonce just sing
Beyonce's
without
a-
her
hold up,
overdoing
hold
it?
up,
Because
hold
she
up.
goes overboard.
Hold
Do you
up.
ask Aretha to sing
Hold
without
up.
overdoing it? Some people
Beyonce is
know
a
that's what
powerhouse
they
singer.
do.
I don't care what y'all
All right,
say.
so look, the thing that's
Beyonce is a powerhouse
Beyonce's
singer.
like
Okay,
8 singing.
the powerhouse.
So let's
She's
ask this
a
question before
You
we move
cannot, like we already said,
after
during
the
break,
6.5, she's
you
an eight.
cannat win a Beyonce argument. So I'm gonna
I
set
know
it
we
up
need to
right
move
now.
on.
Exactly.
Let's move
Exactly.
No,
on.
but you cannot sit here and say
Hey,
Beyonce
Y'all
is a
stressing me
singer.
out.
Okay, so
Beyonce's a singer.
Hold
she's
on.
not just
4
an
men talk
entertainer.
about Beyonce for half an hour. What is
Exactly.
going on right now?
Look.
No,
This is the
it's
man
too-
show about drinking. What happened to that?
I know
Talk
that's
about
right.
Beyonce.
Hey, look at this though.
Jeez.
I heard Aretha Franklin
No,
when
no offense,
when
Beyonce, I love her.
Aretha died. I heard Aretha's old songs. I hadn't even listened to
Me
them.
too. That's right.
Aretha could really sing.
Thank you,
Now,
Sherlock.
now this is the thing though. I think that Aretha might be a better singer than Beyonce.
Yes.
You can't really compare
Yes.
them. You
No.
can't compare them because
Look-
there's different styles and
No.
time periods.
You can compare.
I'll
But-
allow it.
Vocals,
But
vocal
when
wise.
you hear her sing,
Aretha could
like
blow
Aretha could blow.
Beyonce out the water. That's facts.
Yeah.
But can
Well,
she
I think-
sing and dance and do choreography?
Well, no.
And that's
No.
why
No, that's
Pat-
the only person who has been able to do that is Janet.
No, Tina
No,
Turner.
we said sing. Remember?
Tina Turner.
I said Janet.
Tina Turner.
And Janet-
enough. She's singing
Janet,
enough.
Janet act just as much as Beyonce.
No,
They
but
had just
Janet
as many
can't sing.
roles.
Janet can't
and-
sing.
And,
But what I'm saying
and,
is-
and Janet had 2 sitcoms
But look,
she was in
all
on
the-
regular.
all the-
Janet sing like she whispering you a secret.
But
at
look,
night.
everybody.
That's
Only other
not
person that can
Hey,
do
that's
that.
all I need. I
Wait,
don't need
hold on
nobody
one
yelling
second.
in my ear telling me,
She's not so much
Only
singing.
other person that can do that is Tina Turner. Tina Turner can
Love
sing
her.
from
And
dance
dance.
all the way from the beginning.
she cannot act.
Tina was.
Neither can
You never
Beyonce.
seen
But hold on,
that.
don't,
You
keep,
give me
but
that
don't throw
I
acting
love
in there
her.
because I mean we can't keep on going to the next level because you know it'll just
But,
I-
I
just
mean,
singing and dancing. I think
Janet.
No,
Okay.
I'm taking Janet.
Beyonce.
I got Janet.
Beyonce.
let me see
Did,
who else.
did Whitney dance?
No.
Not much.
Don't
Whitney
do
did the
it.
Cabbage Patch.
Whitney can sing better than Beyonce.
Yes,
Yeah.
all of
She's
them.
better than most everybody.
No, but y'all saying that.
And
before.
I don't know how
Whitney
Mariah could ever
Oh, I
be in
love
any.
Mariah can
Yeah.
sing.
She can sing better than almost everyone too.
The old
Hell
Mariah,
no.
not the
The old
new.
Mariah.
But
Not the
Mariah-
new
what's
Mariah.
No Mariah.
Visions of Love.
That was
Mariah.
Mariah
25
used
years
to
ago.
blow.
25 years ago.
Well,
30 years.
Yes. Well, Mariah. This is the thing. Mariah and Britney Spears.
It was
Those
in the
are
80s.
they are these special
No. Early 90s.
these special talents that blew up
It
so
was
big.
95.
I don't understand how they got that big, but they just did.
Well, Britney's talented though. I'm sorry.
Britney had hits. Britney can
Britney
dance
was
too.
the white version of Janet Jackson when she came out. She, you know, all her shows became. And that's another thing. Everybody not giving Janet her props. Janet, if you look at, if you
I'm
look,
the only
hold
one
on,
giving
hold
Janet
on,
her
hold
props.
on, Dave, before you
You
start
over
screaming,
pop
man.
props.
Janet started this whole the way
Singing,
the concerts
dancing.
are because
Yep.
you look at Usher, Britney Spears, Beyonce, all these acts.
No, hold on,
And
hold on.
Janet got it
Usher
from
can
her
sing better
brother.
than Beyonce.
Janet got it from Michael. You're right.
But who did Michael get it
Usher
from?
can sing better than
Michael got it
Beyonce.
from James Brown. So
How about this?
And James,
Usher-
and
Usher-
James Brown came up under Chuck Berry and them.
Have a funky good
Chuck Berry and them did live shows. That's the thing. Chuck Berry and them was the ones who was really performing, putting on a show every night in different cities and traveling like doing weekends.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to think about it.
That's
they,
vicious, Joe.
They were doing,
Without staff and nobody carrying their stuff, they carrying their own instruments.
Yeah.
They was driving.
And our
They was
ancestors used to
driving.
eat
They ain't had no
feast.
diet plan.
Yo, moving on to
No
quick
massage.
topics again before we move on.
They was doing a whole hell of a lot of drugs.
Did y'all hear about Tierra Marie going to jail? 50 Cent sent her ass to jail for
And
not showing
no,
up.
she's
No,
not
they
in
issued-
jail.
they issued a
Go
bench
to
warrant.
jail.
You sent out a bench warrant.
They issued a
because
bench
she
warrant
didn't-
for her.
she didn't
Just
show up
because
for
a
arrest.
warrant is sent for you doesn't mean you're going to jail.
Just because you did it don't mean you're
But the
guilty.
last thing I read is
See,
that she's
Pastor,
actually
me and
been
Kiki,
arrested.
why I keep
The
saying
last
jail.
I read, she's been arrested, and that was about 10 minutes before I came here. They said she's been arrested.
Oh, she got taken.
Being arrested just means you have to go and. Oh, I'm sorry, husband.
And she probably turned
No, no,
herself
no.
in.
She's not going to prison. She's going to jail. So,
So
she's
why,
not in
what
jail.
happened? She,
All right, it's a civil case. 50 Cent won a civil case against her. She has to pay his level suit to $50,000. So the judge said you have to come to this hearing so they can ask you where you got your money because they want to get their money.
How are you living?
So
right?
the hearing is how much money do you have and where is it?
Yes.
That's what it's for. She didn't come to that, so just held her in contempt and held her for a $50,000
Because she
fine.
probably was trying to hide her money, so she probably turned herself in after she hid her
Right.
money.
Exactly. So
well, she said she didn't have any money.
She said she said I can't pay and I won't pay. And,
Oh, she been clowning on it.
She said,
clowning.
I won't pay.
She's
and-
like hashtag I ain't got it.
yeah, and but the judge is like, I don't care if you got it or not, you're still coming to this hearing.
Yes, you come to this hearing, and it doesn't matter. And he's like, you're gonna
She
get
should be
some money
released.
somewhere
She should be released.
because what the judge is gonna do, he's gonna find out what things do you have in the works right now. Any music deals, any acting. things
She's on
or-
Love and Hip Hop, isn't she?
Yeah. So you're getting a check, so
Sure.
they're gonna garnish that. They're gonna garnish something.
Yeah, but so what was the whole case about in the first place?
It was
Okay.
the whole
But
dick
it
picture
was
release.
a revenge porn tape that Tia released about 50.
So Tierra Marie had a tape.
No,
She did what 50 did to Rick Ross.
Okay, so she had a sex tape.
No,
50 Cent.
No. Tia Marie did a sex tape with this guy who's friends with 50, whatever. And they fell out with each other. Akmal and 50 got the tape. 50 got a hold of the tape. 50 released. Well, no, the tape got released.
But they say that
it got leaked, right? She accused 50 and Akmal of doing it. So she tried to sue them. When the trial was over with, they were exonerated. No, what happened was while the trial was going on, she was like crying and had Gloria Allred as her lawyer, and she was saying they leaked this tape, my ex and 50 Cent. So she was trying to get 50's money, right? But she ended up reconciling with the dude while the case was going on. So while the case was going on, they got video of her and him going on vacation together.
Right.
So the judge is like, all stuff you're saying that was damaging to you is null and void. It wasn't damaging to you. So I'm throwing out your case and allow 50 to countersue. And he won for his lawyer fees and just some small amount for pain and suffering.
But and then they found out that she actually leaked the tape.
Oh, well, see, and 50 wants his $50,000 because he won his countersue.
Right.
Hey, I don't blame him, but
and he being petty because it's $50,000.
He's petty.
He is petty, but
you know what else
$50,000. Hold up. 50, could we all use $50,000 in this room today?
Exactly. My kids can have that. Exactly.
But you know what also 50 did that was smart? She kept saying like all her on her post, she was saying, I forgot what she said.
I ain't got it. That's what she was saying. Hashtag I ain't got it.
He said, give me my money.
No, listen, he trademarked that statement. So anytime she used it, he was getting paid from it. When she posted on
really?
her thing, he went and trademarked that statement. So
I ain't
he
got
did
it.
a lot of shit. He was being really petty to her.
Hey,
I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying?
He did what?
He trademarked that statement that she kept posting.
Statement?
I think I ain't got it.
Like
no, this is a while ago.
But when he started getting those garnishment checks from
all that stuff, somebody she ain't got it. So every time she posted that statement, he got paid from that statement.
When he starts getting them garnishment checks from Love and Hip Hop, he probably gonna keep them on camera.
Do you guys know any 50 Cents in y'all life? Do y'all have friends that are that petty, or you that person?
Yeah, I do know people that petty.
Yourself?
Yeah. I'm not petty. I'm not petty.
Pointed to you. That's what I was like.
Wow.
I'm petty.
Well, we will go to a quick break. Come right back. We come right back. We're gonna have Sharice is in the building, the commissioner's in the building, see what's going on with her, yo. Give us a call 202-656-1BAR. Salud. Welcome back. Welcome back to WLVS Radio. You tune into the open bar.
Salud.
Salud. Of course, Dave is rocking our apparel.
Open bar t-shirt.
The open bar t-shirt.
Ew.
He rocking the vintage. It's really nice.
It don't look like a vintage. It don't look kind of crispy.
It's not the vintage.
It was kind of crispy today. I see it.
Crispy. You can order shirts online at openbartuesday@gmail.com. Part of the proceeds to benefit local charities. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel at WLVS Radio. See all the great shows that WLVS have to offer.
Please.
Yo.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Outstanding.
Tell everybody who you are since you ain't been here in 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness. You're supposed to be introducing me. Then I can tell everybody who I am.
Oh, that's Pastor's job.
Come on, Pastor.
Oh,
We got Miss Sharice Crawford with us. And she got so many hats. I don't know which one do you want to use today. I mean, are you using now most of all?
I'm Sharice Crawford.
Yeah, she's Sharice Crawford, exactly. Now she's been the commissioner out of Ward 5, right?
8.
Ward 8, right? But now she relinquished that. She's moved on. What you doing now?
I'm on the state committee at the DC Democratic State Committee as the at-large committee woman, and Ward 5 is one of the communities that we represent.
Okay, right. So I know Ward
all
5
the other 8 wards in the District of Columbia.
All right, so state committee. All right, so she's in the building today, and
she giving us Whitley Gilbert today.
No, that's
I brought my agenda because I got some
That's a little more Hillary.
happening for you guys.
Hillary Banks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Elizabeth Warren.
Hillary Banks. I guess some same things happening.
I don't know. She's not as ditzy as Hillary Banks.
Oh.
Thank God.
Not
I
as
appreciate
ditzy?
that.
She said,
So she is ditzy, you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that.
It's okay.
It's not as ditzy.
It just
which means a level of
So-
ditzy.
it just
So
came
today-
out wrong.
You would bring that up, huh?
You're
Today,
not.
It's okay. He didn't
today
make
you
it.
had a
Words
protest.
have meanings.
You had a protest today, right?
Today was a mega protest at 14th and U outside the Reeves building, dealing with this was a second phase to the hashtag Don't Mute DC movement, which started from with really all based on the premises of gentrification in the city. But it started from
We still on that go-go thing again. I know.
it wasn't
I'm
about
joking.
go-go. See, that's the thing. It wasn't about go-go. It was the muting. Go-go was an
Yeah.
aspect of it, right? But it was the muting of a part of the community, the city's culture, that people who moved to the city wanted to shut down. But that was the first phase of it, right? The second phase today was the fact that we're dealing with significant budget cuts to education facilities and schools that are east of the river in Ward 7 and 8. And we all know what happens when you cut budgets from education, especially based on third grade reading scores and third grade test scores. And so if we're not funding educators that care, then the educators eventually are going to leave. And then where does that leave the young people in this city that have already subject to a failed
Absolutely.
education system?
So it's going to leave them in the hands of people who just take the jobs just to get a check real quick. They really ain't.
And that's what majority of the people are doing.
But a
now.
dumb question. Who are we protesting, though? Are we protesting the school board? Are we protesting Trump?
Well, the mayor. This happened in the mayor's budget. It's so many levels to this, and I'm glad you asked that question, Ron, because it's an excellent question. It is very local in this aspect because the budget cuts came out of the mayor's budget that was submitted to the council. The council is now going through a series of hearings, which are held during the day, which blocks out the everyday person from even attempting to be able to testify, because where is everyone else during the day when they're trying to just afford the cost of living in the city?
They're at work.
So they're at work.
Right.
Okay, so the hearings are happening right now for funding in the city, for funding for education, which has been cut. And so we're trying to tell to city council to increase the budget, to reject the mayor's budget and increase the funding in schools in Ward 7 and 8 to make sure that we are not continually disparaging and marginalizing
I got to jump in and
students
ask you.
and families.
I'll ask you real quick. So you're asking the city council to reject the mayor's budget. So are you saying, this don't have to be malicious, but are you saying the mayor is really missing the point with this budget?
The mayor is doing what the mayor has routinely shown us that she does in these aspects, where people will argue to say there's great things that she's doing, and I won't debate that because she does wonderful things on one side of the city. But then when you're cutting education budgets on another side of the city,
east of the river,
you're impacting future generations. So we're not just talking about a good time, we're talking about people's legacies and their future here. So one, the mayor is not getting it on this aspect, and it's up to council.
That's a nice way of saying it, right?
It's up to council to propose amendments to show this administration what the budget should look like.
I remember how Chuck used to start his shows. How Chuck Brown used to start his shows. They'd be like, Chuck, baby, don't get.
But look, I want to ask this dumb question again. So I'm using an example.
No dumb questions here.
I'm using an example.
Just dumb.
So let's say you get child support, right?
Okay.
And the father giving this woman $1,000 a month. So people say you don't need $1,000 a month. A professional say you don't need $1,000 a month. They really, they did this all analysts, and they realized all only thing that mother need for that child is maybe $300 a month. No. So the father like, I cut it down to $300. You understand what I'm saying? So what if the professionals are looking at this school system? They like, we didn't spend $10,000 a month for this, but we really only need to be spending $1,000. Why not trust them?
Yeah, because
that's such a dumb question.
No. Hold on, wait. It was asked in a dumb way. It's actually a smart question. The question is, the question is, why don't we trust our the mayors when she did supposedly study this?
Well, because we're in the schools.
And this is what they determined.
The data has come back and said, right?
Yes, so the question is, why refute the mayor's data?
So the first thing is that there were programs that were supposed to already have been documented to take place in the schools, like healthcare services, mental health care services, working 5 days a week in the school system, which was proven to be false. So there are already programs and projects in the school system that the council and the mayor's office is claiming that has been operating for the support of schools east of the rivers, and those funds were not allocated to do those, to execute in that capacity.
I can say the nurse in my school is not there for 5 days a week. The nurse in my school, nurse in my daughter's school is only 3 days a week, but they're in Friendship Heights.
They're in Friendship Heights. They're how many days a week in Friendship Heights?
2 or 3.
2 or 3 days a week in Friendship
Yeah.
Heights, but they're not there at all in the schools where the funding is being cut. And that's just one aspect on the health side of the students. We're looking at most of these students deeply impacted by trauma. I had a question today. They said, well, there's no hope for a young man who was 3 years old or in 3rd grade and witnessed the murder of their family members or a loved one. I said, there is absolutely hope for that young person. It's just going to require us properly funding the educators that are caring for them for the majority parts of their lives, while their parents are working 2 and 3 jobs, unfortunately, to make sure that they have a roof over their head.
So
and
here's
food
a
on the table
here's
when
a
they come
philosophical
home.
question. Maybe you can answer. Do you think the upgrades that have been going on in the city, is it all about gentrification, or is some of this actually about the for the betterment of the citizens of DC? Is it like is it the community activists that are doing most of the stuff for the community, or is the government actually doing some of this upgrades?
First of all, you got to understand that Amazon was initially projected to come to DC. Now it's going to be in Virginia.
Right.
The development, and they're building 1 and 2 bedroom condos.
Right.
What families
Can live in those,
are
right?
living in 1 and 2 bedroom corner size condos?
Right.
Well, they've been
So
living
consider.
into them otherwise.
Well, that's another part of the
There was
problem.
5 of us.
But you got to think about
That
Hold
wasn't
up.
by choice, though. It was because this is what you could afford for my family. This is what we could afford to live in. So if we had a choice,
Okay, I mean that's what you
of
still
living
have to.
but why are you consistently building? If
But you
all
can't
of
afford
the
those, though.
condos
Even
are
though they're
Because
overpriced.
the reason
Even
why
those are
the
overpriced.
reason why
Let me finish the statement, and you can give the reason
Okay.
why. Okay. If you are building mass development where there's no moratorium on how much you're building all at once all across the city,
Yes.
and majority of those developments are 1 and 2 bedroom homes, you're building
overpriced.
transitional homes. You're building for gentrification. You're building for people to come here,
Good point.
work where they're working, and then transition out to go to the next opportunity.
Okay, no, that's a very good point. And actually, I hadn't thought about that before. And that makes a great point. But how much is the city in on this, and how much of this is greedy developers?
That they're permitting it. The city is permitting. The city is also through the zoning commission permitting map amendments, where that is bypassing the PUD process, where traditionally that process typically forced developers to create benefit packages for current existing residents, like recreation centers, funding programs, funding opportunities.
Right.
Those are programs that funded those. The PUDs created community benefits agreements.
These are getting cut.
They're not only getting cut, they've created a loop around to
They're
where
bypassing a lot of the
bypass the process where they traditionally,
because those processes
go
were
through.
set up to make sure that the citizens didn't get cut out, left out, disregarded. But if you bypass the process, you can do all of that and still act as if you thought about the citizens, but really you just made the money, you moved on, and like you said, you created a space. Like, we got bigger problems in this because
It's
the go-go thing
gentrification.
happened, right? But now you heard the guy who walking his dog up on Howard University.
And said the campus, a historically black campus that
y'all
was
shut down the campus.
federally mandated, that was used for black land for reparations because black people could not receive education.
And Howard is the only school that
the
receives federal
nerve
money.
and the
It is.
audacity
Howard is
to
the only
state
school
that
that
the
receives federal money.
campus should move in itself shows that we have done a poor job with showing what this city values.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that
Well,
was
you got to
crazy.
think about it.
Yeah,
The
that was-
majority
that
of
was
the
ignorant.
people who used to live in the city
I'm gone.
have moved on.
I'll say
Not by choice.
Majority of them have moved
Well,
on.
well,
No, by
Majority
choice
of-
because they got priced
That's-
out.
that's
Let's be very
gentrification.
clear about
That
it.
is gentrification.
They got priced out of living in the city. Their families grew one size too big for the condo that was there for the bypass.
no,
Hold up.
no.
The condos wasn't always here.
No, he's talking about. You know what? There was a large part of people who did get priced out, but that's more recent.
Priced out.
But
No,
when you
it's
go,
not.
but when you go, but hold on, if you go back,
If you go back 10, 15 years,
15, 20 years, hold on.
10, 15 years, not even 20.
I'm in court often, and there's at least 15 to 20 tax foreclosures every day going on in DC.
Okay,
And
so hold on,
DC
what I'm saying.
And that's where these developers get the properties from. They pay $4,000 in taxes that the 75-year-old black lady couldn't pay.
No, but
They buy the house for
Hold on, Pastor.
$4,000.
This is
They buy the house
This
for
how it's done.
$4,000.
hold on, but
They buy the
listen to
house
what I'm
for
saying. But hold on,
$4,000
but
and then kick her out.
I'm going to come back to your side. But what I'm saying,
this
to you
isn't
is-
about a side.
Okay, I'm coming. I'm on your same side though. I'm on your team. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, 20 years ago, think about this. These black people own. I know a number of people. I got a list of people who own these houses that parents left to them, family members left to them, and then hold on, and the taxes were behind. And they were going to get foreclosed on. And so either they lost it through the foreclosure or somebody came and offered them money and they just took the money and they left. That's not priced out.
That is priced out. If the taxes with the property taxes.
That's not priced out.
Because their family, they wasn't living in it. So
hold on.
The people wasn't living in those properties.
Huh? You couldn't afford the taxes in the first place. Someone paid your taxes.
There you go.
And now they got your house.
And then you look at the faulty loans. Consider all the faulty loans that were given to African Americans to even buy those homes.
There was bigger faulty loans in Prince George's County than they were in DC.
I would have to see the data.
Now I'm with you that the houses were lost through foreclosure and lost taxes.
So you're facing foreclosure and you have equity in the house.
Okay.
But say you owe $100,000, your house worth $5.
Right.
Someone gives you, hey, I'm gonna give you $500,000 right now. You walk away, I got your house.
Right.
But you only owe $100,000.
Right.
That's a good deal to you.
No, is it?
It sounds voluntarily, but I mean, you really had no choice.
You
really had no choice but to do that, because otherwise they would lose their house for nothing.
Well, here's what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is that how come these black families were not in a position
they weren't informed. They weren't taught
to be able to pay. And so that's my thing that we have possession of the property, but we can't pay for it. Why are we in a place where we're so poor we can't?
Now that's the question that you. That's a better question.
Let's
talk about that.
That's a long.
Let's talk about it then.
Let's
unpack it.
Are we too poor to pay?
Let's unpack it.
Or are we just neglect?
I feel like some of it was
a lot of it was neglect.
I
meant to say that we weren't. Some of we weren't taught how to use money.
No, we
budget
weren't
money.
taught how to use
exactly.
money.
So I understand that, but I'm saying that these were the real problem, which is back to what you were saying about education, having access to programs and different things that everybody else takes advantage of that we don't know about or even understand the language of, which keeps us kind of poor than we would normally be if we were informed.
Okay, let me help you unpack this.
Welcome to America.
Let me help you unpack this just a little bit. And I feel that I've been more recently sharing my story as a fourth generation freed American of enslaved Americans. It's a fourth generation. So keep this in mind. 4 generations in my family, 4 generations ago, my grandmother's grandmother was a slave in this country, right? And I'm the first generation that is assigned to speak on behalf of all those years of enslavement. And every year in my family since then, we've inherited debt.
Wow. That's true.
So let me help you unpack this. And so I've been becoming more and more convicted to tell this story because I'm the first educated generation in my family to speak intelligently on these issues that have compounded as to why we're priced out, to why we're inheriting our grandmother and great grandmother's debt. And for those who were able to kind of rise above those challenges, but you were pretty much let go with nothing. And then you're already set up to where your credit score, there was a study that showed Black Americans' credit scores were significantly lower than Asian Americans and white Americans, simply because of their ethnicity.
Right.
That's true.
So these are things.
Wow.
That is
I'm
true.
telling you, the study was done in Congress.
It's true.
Please go look it up.
Your credit score is low because you have credit history, but
no, it's
they
not.
They were assigned these
scores.
numbers. I'm telling you. This was inherited.
Tito,
they inherited
I think
this debt.
what you're missing. I feel what you're saying, but what we're missing is that
the study was done.
That sounds very practical to you, but it's still real. The same way women aren't treated the same in hospitals. We die because people don't believe we are experiencing.
I agree with that.
It's all the same. The same goes with the credit.
No, please look it up.
It's systematic.
It was a study that they were trying to do the study for reparations. HR 40 is in Congress right now. They were trying to get moved forward. They want to study to look at what is this program going to look like, because it's not just happened for descendants of slaves in America, but there are claims against the French and throughout the diaspora, and for those that were convicted was the Holocaust survivors. Right. So these claims are not new. This program is not new. So when people say it may or may not happen, I'm not sold on that because it's already happening.
Sharice, you are the best. We love when you're here as usual.
Because it's already happening.
I appreciate it. And I got some fun stuff too. I got some fun stuff to share whenever I get a chance.
Well, actually, you can share that at the end of the show.
Okay, I can't wait. Let's keep the show rolling.
We're going to talk about when we come back.
Manipulation.
Manipulation.
That's a good topic.
Wow. Give us a call at
I didn't want to talk about that, Pastor.
656-1.
I'm not proud of that
Salute.
Salute.
Hello.
Welcome back to WLVS Radio to
Salute.
the open bar. So we
had our serious moment right there.
Right. We're drinking on several different drinks today. We drinking on
got
drinking on just the
Honey Jack on the rocks.
on the rocks. David's drinking his Honey Jack with ginger ale and a splash of pineapple.
Yes.
I'm doing Prosecco champagne with pineapple.
I thought you were going to stop.
I'm just plain old pineapple and ice.
Plain old pineapple and ice. And we don't know
Splash
what
of ginger ale.
She's doing that
Put
thing.
some bubbles.
Doing that thing.
Some
Yo,
bubbles.
Pastor,
Yes.
what's on your mind?
Hey, so if I had to do on a spectrum, right, and try to give a percentage of why relationships fail, I would probably give manipulation probably about 45% of the time is the reason why relationships fail, because there's so many other reasons. That's why it's so low. It would actually be higher.
45%. That's it.
Yeah, I'm saying it would be higher if it wasn't so many other reasons why relationships fail.
What are the higher?
Taking the trash has to be 55%, right?
Huh?
Taking trash out has to be 55%.
Well, I mean, why a relationship fails?
I do it every Tuesday.
Well, no, that's why it survives.
Exactly.
That's why it survives.
Stop the blood clot line.
yeah, why it survives. But why relationships fail. And a lot of it is because we do sabotage our relationships, and manipulation is one of those things that's not on the surface. In other words, you don't always see yourself doing it. Most people won't admit that they're doing it, and you really don't believe that you're actually doing it. But most people enter relationships with the idea that I'm the prize. They should be happy that they got me. Most people enter it with that. They start there, and then the next step is, what are you going to do to make me happy? I deserve to be happy. This blindness goes on, and not realizing that the other person is feeling the exact same way. Like, what are you going to do to make me happy?
The first problem is they entered it with an idea instead of asking the questions.
Well, is that manipulation or self-interest?
Absolutely.
Well, is manipulation on purpose?
Listen, it starts off. This I'm telling you how it starts off. You're entering a relationship with this idea, right? Once you get in a relationship, the reason why you feel comfortable even committing to it is because most people also, at the same time, while they believe they're the prize and that they should be made happy by the other person, and they're not thinking about what they should do to make the other person happy, at the exact same time, they believe that they are going to be smart enough to make another person be and do exactly what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And that's where you fail. It's the most unhealthiest goal you could set for yourself, is to think that you can control another person, a living soul, a person who has
mind control over her.
Is this personal experience or is there data to follow with this?
It's a ton of data. This is not even something that you have to even study or look up. You can just this is self-evident. So you can look around in most relationships.
Based on your relationships.
No.
Based on your relationships.
Based on your relationship.
Based on your relationship.
Chris Rock used to say, don't say men ain't nothing. Just say the men.
He said men ain't shit.
He said, just say the people you date ain't nothing.
Exactly. No, I mean, that's funny. But the truth is,
do we have to do a better job at making selections?
And what Chris Rock was actually saying was that, everybody is not the bad that you've experienced, and that's the truth, right? But again, that doesn't stop the fact that majority of people enter relationships and believe that they can manipulate the will, the desires, the heart of another person. They can manipulate it, and that manipulation can flow from everything from rationing out sex, to having more money than the person, to playing the victim because of your past and they know where you came from, and they can throw all kinds of things at you to make you move the way they want you to move. The whole while they could sincerely not believe that they're working in manipulation. They think that they're just being themselves.
We're talking about unintentional manipulation.
It's not intentional. I just think that they may not be aware of it, but it's intentional. It's
to get what they want to get.
It's to get what they want to get. So.
I agree with that, because even if you look at friendships, let's say you had this one friend that's got sick, and they try to manipulate. They want you to feel sorry for them all the time or whatever.
Right.
And I'm just saying,
that what they're trying to do?
Well, I'm just saying they throw things in your face that because they're sick. What happened? I don't do that. I don't manipulate.
That was
like
your
today.
Guilt trips are a form of manipulation.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But guilt trips are also in
so that means we're all guilty of it.
Hold
There
up.
you go.
Hold up.
Also what?
How can
Guilt
you feel
trips are
guilty of
involved in
something? How can you have a guilt trip
non-intimate
of something that
Everybody.
you ain't even involved in?
People make you feel sorry for their situation. That makes
I shouldn't feel sorry for you.
But
shit.
no,
Everybody's not like you.
people
You're petty.
will
You've
play
never
on your
felt
compassion.
guilty or sorry.
People
You're
will
right.
play on your compassion,
Yes,
and manipulation can even come in the
It can't
form.
work on me.
And manipulation can even come in the form of, which is what children use many times, and that is
Playing one parent against the other.
checking out. Like you just deciding to check out. Like when you become unenthused, you don't have any questions, you don't have any answers. You just check out on a person, and when you do that, that becomes a form of manipulation because you're actually trying to get something at that point in time too.
Nah, I'm trying to get the hell out.
No. To what you're saying, Pastor, so you check out, and it's basically like it's a game of chicken. Like who's gonna fail first?
Who's gonna break first, right?
This person, I know he or she will because she's weak, and I'm just shut up and he or she will come.
And they'll fold, right?
Yeah.
So who will fold?
That's what it's about.
So you can check out with somebody, and kids do it all the time. Like if a child, so you got to teach your children to stop crying all the time, right? Because if the tears move you, they will break it down every single time. And kids can cry on cue, right? They don't need nothing, no emotions in it. They will, like an actress, tears will start flowing because it works to a degree while they're small. The older they get, the less impressed you are by that. You like
It still works.
dry it up, right?
People just realize
Still works at 10.
what's for them is for
Still
them.
works.
It works against me.
I'll give another
Yeah,
perspective.
I get-
I'm gonna say that although I do believe that there are some people who are intentionally trying to manipulate people to their own benefit with only self-interest
To get what they want.
interested motives. I think the majority of people are looking for mutually beneficial relationships where, you know, if they're giving, they would like to also receive.
Is manipulation
Okay.
connected
All right, so
to?
let me just say just something back.
If they give you want to receive also, but they want to get what they want.
I want to say this back.
Everybody wants what they want.
No, exactly. But they use manipulation to get what they want.
Exactly, which is the problem.
Everyone
Yeah.
uses manipulation to get what they want.
But it's the problem.
Yeah,
That's the
And
problem.
my point.
And-
people
Yeah.
just realize what's for you is for you.
So here's
Nobody
what
can
comes.
stop that if
Here's
it's
where the
really for
maturity
you.
comes in a relationship. Here's where the maturity comes in a relationship. Where if you feel like you're in a situation where you feel like someone's manipulating you, you have a choice to say if what they're trying to manipulate me
Watch what I throw
into
at her.
is something that I'm willing to
Start
provide.
manipulating.
Now, hold on.
You are
I'm a-
manipulated.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna
She
throw
is. She
Hold
definitely
on.
is.
Hold on. I'm gonna throw this at you because that's funny. that
If
you
they
just-
allow
just-
themselves
hold
to
on,
be
hold on.
manipulated,
She's
decide-
justifying.
Hold on.
I agree.
Taking info from the Russians is not wrong.
And
Look,
then they
she's still
decide if
Look,
what they're
now,
if
Sharice
what
was just
you're
here
demanding
advocating on behalf of
for
all
education.
of the women that were abused and done different kinds of ways and stuff like that. So the idea is, you said you have to mature and you have to stand up for yourself and decide. I'm not going.
No.
But you're being manipulated.
No, she just said it ain't tricking if you got it. She said if you're gonna do it
I
for me,
didn't say that,
I'm not
no.
manipulating you.
Exactly.
That's
So
what she
okay,
said. She
so
said,
what,
if
but
you're
that's
gonna
what I
do
said. I
it,
said
and I'm
maturity comes
manipulating
in
you.
at some point, which
But
there are
if you're
many
being
women who
manipulated, the
have,
problem is that you're being played on. Your
But there are
emotions,
many
your
women who
angles
have-
are being played on.
and that's what I'm sharing to say that at some point you're going to have to make a decision, like the woman that came out against R. Kelly. They
But
realized that
why does
some
the
point,
victim have to make the decision, not the person doing
well,
things? Stop
before you
it.
become the
Yeah.
victim, you got to realize you're a victim of something.
No,
That's true.
I'm not
What-
saying
that's
they
what
know
we're
they're
saying.
victims. No, they know they're
you
victims,
should
but
stop
they're
trying to
afraid of
manipulate.
stuff.
the manipulator. You know, that's like the manipulator
control.
should definitely stop what they're doing.
He
Agree
exactly.
But they won't.
That's
But they won't.
the question he's
If
they
you
asking.
are
won't.
intentionally, I'm talking about intentionally. You have malicious intent.
Well,
You have ill.
doesn't have to be
No,
malicious.
it makes it. It makes a
Well,
difference.
But what I wanted to say to what you said
You
earlier.
know this. The difference between someone going to jail for a lifetime or getting a slap on the wrist is what?
The crime.
It not just the crime, but what?
The time.
Not just, but it's about
trying to-
intention. It's about the intention.
Well, Depends on the crime.
well-
It's about intention based on the crime, but it's still about
But,
intention. If
okay.
you are intentionally out to
But here's the-
sabotage
okay,
someone,
so here's the
with your
but
malicious-
here's the problem with
it's not intentional. You're not trying to hurt someone.
Exactly.
You're not trying to do that. You think it's
trying to
better.
do what you
It's
want.
the best for the both of you.
You think it's best for
but
both
you
of you.
want them to do
And-
what you want.
that's
and
what
what
I
I
mean
want-
by
why?
No. But that's you. It's one person deciding what's best for both.
Exactly.
But you're saying the intentions aren't bad if there's no.
But it doesn't matter. Just because you don't know any better doesn't mean that you're right. So maybe you didn't mean to offend me, but you could still offend me, right?
Okay, so let me say
or hurt me.
At some point, you have to say what you're doing has hurt me. If you've never come to me to say that your actions have offended me or your actions have caused whatever pain or whatever suffering, how will that person even know what they're doing is manipulative?
But here's what I'm trying to do
because they don't think it's manipulative, and they manipulate you back.
Exactly.
Say no,
and then manipulate you back.
With this segment,
this whole scenario.
With this segment, I'm trying to say the one point I'm trying to make. Big point is that people don't realize how much we operate in manipulation unconsciously.
Okay, unconsciously.
And at the end of the day, it is still driven by our selfish, what we want. And like I said, it doesn't care about what somebody else needs or what they want. We see ourselves as compassionate, helpful, ministering type of people that are always looking out for other people. But truth is, you really out to get what you want. And that's why even if you start off good, you give me I can be around somebody who got a lot of money. I may start off good, but after a while, sitting around with all that money, you start to breed some jealousy, some envy, and you start saying, man, look, I need some of that. You start trying to find ways to get it.
How long you been married? Tell me how long you've been married.
It'll be 1 year in 6 days.
1 year. Has there ever been a time where you felt that it was something that was going to be the best for your family, that you wanted to, that you had to make a case with your wife to say that this is a direction we should go into?
And I would always lose.
Either way,
would that be manipulation?
Would that be manipulation?
No. If I make a case for it, no.
But but I'm saying
if I say, oh, so you're not doing this, so that means you this is disrespecting me, my whole family. If you don't do X, you don't care about us. You're disrespecting me.
So what's the? So give me an example.
Can you give us a definition?
Give me an example of this manipulation, because if you're in a relationship, you're going to want something. You're going to have a need that you.
And I'm going to use whatever I can to get what I want.
No, see, no.
She said she does. He's admitting that his wife is. Okay, so does this make his wife wrong that she's been manipulating him all this time?
That statement, she was exaggerating.
Is his wife wrong?
She's not wrong. Many women do it to their husbands. Many husbands do it to their wives.
Does this mean that she should be fined in the court of law?
No. It just means that
I need to do better.
It just means this. It means
principles should match principles. I like that.
It means that bottom line is this. Listen, you can't sit up and work a person's angles. You find out what their buttons are. Use that, work that to try to make them do and be the way you want them to be.
Is that what your wife does?
What do you mean? I don't understand the problem.
So is that what your wife does?
So
I'm making you better.
I guess
she said, wait. She said I'm making you better. Is this true?
Hell no.
Is she making you better?
Not if it's manipulation.
Wait.
No, it's not.
Is she making you better?
That's not the test.
But is she making you better?
That's not the test.
That's not the test.
But you didn't answer the question.
No, that's not the test.
Is she making you better?
You being messy.
It's still not respectful.
Don't be messy.
So you're saying it's not
Don't
respectful.
be messy over here.
So you're saying it's not respectful.
Exactly.
All right, Messy Marvina.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it sweeter.
So I didn't know that you were being controlled.
As he said,
if
a wife or a husband makes a case, if a wife or husband makes a case for something and influences a person, influence is one thing, but that's the problem. See, we hide everything under influence when what we're really doing is manipulating.
But tell us what you mean by
give me an example.
So give us some examples
when you use whatever you can use to control another person's will and their desires.
No, give me a better example.
So I just told you. I just told you.
Because
hold on. It's like girls.
How is that not an example?
Listen, girls who date drug dealers, right?
Yes.
Girls who date drug dealers, because they have the money and what they get from it. Hold on. Those guys can treat those girls any way they want, and they will stay loyal to them.
And the tender hearts of those drug dealers, the tender souls,
no,
and
they will.
philanthropy.
No, they.
They just want to be the recipients of it.
The turkeys they give out on Thanksgiving, the Christmas gifts for the children.
This is not New Jack.
You don't know what new real hood do.
Listen, those guys can treat those girls any kind of way, and you know what? They don't really need them. You know why? Because hold on.
Let me know
because it's a lot of dudes that got paper out here.
Let me give you an example. Okay, so we know based on the testimonies that came forward that R. Kelly would utilize the opportunity.
Hold on.
He definitely manipulated all of them.
But I'm trying to, I am trying to understand the scenario.
I just told you, a man who has money,
he manipulated all of them.
Gets away with certain things that a dude who don't have money doesn't get away with.
That is in fact the case. So give me another example.
I'm telling you now, there are women who let men who have money get away with things a dude who don't have money will not get away with.
So that's manipulation.
That's manipulation.
Or that's women who let men with little dinglings get away with. I mean, big dinglings get away with stuff that they wouldn't let little dinglings. Absolutely, dude. That's the truth. Hold on, you got little dingling. You can't talk to me like that.
That's the truth.
That's not manipulation. That's not manipulation.
Or money. I told someone in my single days, I said, I'm not arguing with a dude that I got to give $40 to next week. I've told. So it is a fact that not you, baby. I'm saying you always got money.
She did say that.
But that is manipulation because that puts the other person in fear that if I don't do what she says, she's gonna stop talking to me.
That's another version of it.
But if I don't do what she says,
both ways. It's both ways.
She'll stop talking.
Her way, but his way too.
That's manipulation and not giving you.
I'm gonna stop talking.
So here's what that does, though. This says you have an opportunity to walk
grow.
Away, so you either level up.
No, that's
you want her.
You're using fear. You're doing Donald Trump.
Exactly.
So at what point? Okay, so at what point is this simply someone giving you their honest reality?
Exactly.
For you to decide whether or not
their honest reality is manipulation.
The honest reality that
ultimatum is manipulation.
And then at what point is
she's
that?
She's also driving the man to say, "Let me go get this money because if I get the money, then I can control her." Because guess what? When he paying the bills, she gonna let him argue. He can argue.
She can argue.
Because we gonna argue in Belize. We gonna argue over on in Manassas.
Okay, so let me get this.
You ain't arguing in Southeast, huh?
I ain't say that part because I like Southeast.
But in the movie Harlem Nights, was Sunshine a manipulator?
Yes,
he was.
That man called
what
his
she
wife.
wanted.
She played with angle.
But you seen the meme with her nowadays,
She
right?
got the whole.
I got one.
So manipulation is now honesty.
Guilt, for example.
See, that's manipulation, right?
Guilt, for example. Like I picked up my daughter for practice yesterday, and I usually take her to Chick-fil-A, right?
Okay.
I said, well, we're gonna go home.
She manipulated you.
She said, I said, there's food ready at home. She's like, no, but I want Chick-fil-A. I said, why? My mom doesn't like it. I never get it when I'm with her. So I get it with you.
And you know that's a lie because her mama never cooked.
Chick-fil-A, right?
You went right to Chick-fil-A.
Our kids do it to us all the time.
All the time.
Our kids do it to us all the time.
Yeah.
So your kid would learn how to make a good argument about why they felt.
Oh, my baby's getting better and better every day.
Y'all learn this from like age 4.
It's not a learned thing. It's an observation thing.
No,
if I see, when I look at you,
your daughter is a criminal.
Y'all ever seen that?
Help me
the little kid
understand.
said, Linda, listen.
Yeah, the little boy.
Listen.
You was trying to make this case.
No.
Listen,
Plead this case.
Does this mean your daughter should be held in contempt in the court of law?
No, she's guilty. But she's guilty of what we all do.
So what is the punishment?
We're gonna figure out what's going on with Sharice.
It's too cute to punish.
I want to give you an example of things that's going on. Pass, you want to give your final?
Okay. So basically, the idea is. No, people who will manipulate, we have to understand that it is a human element, right? So it's what you instinctively do as a human if you can, right? Because we want what we want. And it's just too tempting to not, if we can say something or play something or shed a tear that will make you give us what we want to do what we want, we will do it. But the thing is, what I'm saying is that we got to become aware of it. And you will find that the best relationships, the best situations that you create in life are going to come out of mutual decisions to choose each other, not convincing somebody to be the way you want them to be. Because if you manipulate it, you got to keep doing it, and the person will get on. They will get on to it after a while, as R. Kelly's people did, and they will break out.
Okay, so men, in other words, start crying more so you can manipulate them to get them back, so you can even out the score.
And ladies,
like they do.
No what, Rev?
And ladies, don't be arguing with no man living with his mama. Tell him to go to his room.
Exactly.
Tell him, I ain't arguing with no dude I got to give $40 to next week.
He gonna give you $40.
What's going on in the city, guys? We just wrapped up the Ignite Women's Conference. It's a national movement, getting people engaged, local people that want to be plugged in the political movement, giving them a seat at the table. I'm very excited about the Ignite Conference that just happened. This week is the BC Conference, BC Fest, Broccoli City. Saturday, I'll be joining the champ and his team
at the fest, and it's also a great time for boxing in DC. The boxing DC Fight Night is coming up in May. The fight night is happening directly following the title fight. So we're very proud that Swift is a
it's going to be at the St. Eve's Center in Southeast.
That's the one on the 18th, and on the 11th of next month is going to be the title fight that's happening.
Shout out to my son Antonio
That's
Teflon.
Right. You know all about that.
Yeah.
So,
I'll fight your son.
But boxing in DC,
he was on the card last time, and he's on this card this year.
I'll fight your son.
He wasn't. I accidentally bumped into Pastor over there. He was there looking all cool, hanging out on the floor with us and everything.
That's what y'all saying? Y'all just bumped into each other?
So anyhow, all these exciting things are happening.
Did y'all manipulate that?
There we go.
Come on out to DC Fest. Come out to the Broccoli Bar. Salute to all my friends over there. And pizza. A lot of exciting things happening. And pizza is a sponsor of the project. What also wrapped up is the 420.
This dude getting hungry.
Right, I can't have a call.
Sharice, do you have any tickets to Broccoli Festival?
It's not pizza.
I do not have tickets to Broccoli.
Why are you here?
Yeah, I don't
want tickets?
Tickets are online. They're giving away.
Yo, we had a great show. Y'all had a good time?
Thank you guys
for
having
show.
me.
Yo, we see you next week. Salud.
Good night.
Salud.